What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Friday. It's Capes and Cowls. It's the big thing. And we're live, baby. We are live on a Friday. Normally don't go live on a Friday, but I had a lot going on this week. So I asked Winston if he can come in and do it. He's not here yet, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm doing my intro. So today we are going to be talking about that big scoop that came out from Jeff Sneider and said that Sony had a plan to put Spider-Man in their movie. And now at first it was supposed to be Andrew Garfield. And then they said, no, he's not the popular one. Let's get Tom Holland. We have him in contract. Let's do that. So then he did that. And then they scrapped it all together. But the problem was they had a timeline inside of their movie. So every time they mentioned dates, it didn't line up. So they'd go back and re-edit the movie. That's dumb. So we'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. There's a lot of Daredevil news. The Daredevil stuff is Vincent D'Onofrio talking about the tone itself and just the shooting's going to start soon. So there's a lot going on with that show right now, and I'm excited for it. I think that they probably looked at it and said, "Look, we need to reevaluate. We know how popular that the Netflix series was, and we need to really do that." And I think that's exactly what they did. Comic Book Movie did this report on the Fantastic Four, and they basically said like everything that they know about it and all the rumors and all that. And I just thought it was an interesting report, so I'm going to go through that. If Winston gets here, we'll talk about this thing that Channing Tatum's doing, this thing Max. I don't know anything about it. He's excited about it. Channing Tatum, that is. I couldn't tell you what the hell it is. I have no idea. Maybe you guys can tell me. So here's what we'll do. Winston's in here now, so we'll have Winston. But what we'll do is we are going to go through all our topics and everything that we need to do, and then you guys can send in questions. The way we do it on like the Monday show, you send in your super chat. You can start throwing them in there now, and Winston and I will go through all the topics that we're going to cover, and then at the end we'll get to every one of the super chats the same way we do it on Mondays. So if you're brand new and you're only joining us because it's Capes and Cowls Day, well, send in your questions. Anything you want to talk about in the world of comic book movies or TV shows or whatever it is. And Winston and I will take your questions at the end of the show, but it doesn't mean you can't send them in now. Okay. So all that being said, I think that's everything that we're going to talk about today. So without any further ado, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. If you're brand new to the channel, we are rapidly approaching 120,000 subscribers, guys. We're almost there. We're a little over. We're about 119,000. So we're pushing towards 120. I finally did my thank you 100,000 video, so that's out there now. And Patreon, we're getting close. I got to get to that 600 goal on Patreon. I have to. I got to see Mike Kalinowski do stand-up comedy. Come on, that's going to happen. And then once we get to 1,000, we still are going to have that. Winston's going to go to Halloween Horror Nights in October. No matter where I am, I could be in Brazil and I'll fly back for that. So let's get to the show. It's the big thing. It's Capes and Cowls live. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the big thing, Capes and Cowls live edition. Today, it's me, and on the other side, halfway through the screen, is Winton A.
I just got to figure out the calibration with the split screen, man. That's all that is. No fancy backgrounds for y'all today. You just get my
like
closet.
That. That's an old school shirt right there.
I had to do a throwback, man. We're doing a live show.
I know. It's old school.
Also, Brazil. What are you going to Brazil for?
I'm just saying, no matter. I don't know why. I can't remember my mind. But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter where I am. The aliens can pick us up and put us all wherever on planet Zimzom, and I will.
On planet Zimzom.
I will come back to watch you at Halloween Horror Nights should we get there. Anyway, so thanks for joining us, Winston. Coy's not joining us here today because he's got a vacation. He's got a vacation.
Yeah, it's his I think he said this is his Christmas, which I guess being on the East Coast, it's expensive to fly back and forth. So now's the time.
He's been doing this for quite a while. So we decided you and I were going to do a live One, we haven't done that. We already see the super chats coming in. And as I said, what we'll do is we'll go through all the topics that we have today. And then as we get there, it doesn't matter. Like the way we do it on Monday is the same way we'll do it here. We'll stay until the last super chat is gone. So don't worry if you're like, oh, it's too late. We don't cut them off. So whenever you want to throw a question, if you have something, throw them in there. Did you hear this report that was going on, Winston, with Sony?
No, I did not hear. What's happening?
All right, let's tell you right now. So this Madam Web.
Oh, wait, I did hear about this.
Yeah. Hey, so listen, Madam Web, these reshoots and a rumor pointing to major timeline changes. We had led. This is Mark Cassidy, our buddy over at comicbookmovie.com. We had been led to believe that Madam Web was going to be set in the early 2000s, but now a rumor suggests that recent reshoots may have made some major changes to that movie's timeline. Shortly after Madam Web was first announced and some details about the SSU movie began to figure their way out online, we learned that Spider-Man spinoff was set to be in the early 90s. Later, word got out that Emma Roberts and Adam Scott had been cast as Peter Parker's mother Mary and beloved Uncle Ben. So the assumption was that timeline allowed for either the introduction of a young Peter or his conception. While this may still be the case, Jeff Sneider has shared a very interesting rumor on the latest episode of The Hot Mic with John Rogan. Apparently, Madam Web was actually going to be set in the 90s and in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Though Sneider doesn't know if Andrew Garfield was going to appear, he was originally supposed to be in this continuity Spider-Man and possibly the SSU's webhead going forward until the decision was made to pivot to Tom Holland's take on the hero. This does make a lot of sense, especially if Sony is hoping for sequels and spin-offs, but it means that the 90s setting no longer fits. Sneider has heard that the majority of the movie's reshoots were needed to remove every 90s reference from the movie in order for the timelines to match up. This is very much just a rumor for now, but if accurate, we may be able to tell while watching the film. And then there's a new featurette. Dakota Johnson is in the movie, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this seems like a disaster. Am I wrong?
No, I mean that is it's funny because I remember everybody was getting on my ass. It's like, oh man, you didn't watch the Madam Web trailer, because I saw enough. I didn't need to see the trailer when we first talked about this. I understand it's our job, but like there's a point at which I could just you know how like you could see someone from afar and go, I could tell you smell like shit. I don't even need to get near you. That's kind of what this feels like. This whole thing feels like a giant just disaster of a clusterfuck of a movie. So like, obviously we're going to watch it and review it and do all that in a couple of weeks. But this just, from inception, there hasn't been a single thing about this Sony Spider-Man universe. And I'm not including the Beyond the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse and all that. That's, its own thing. But anything live action has just been a giant clusterfuck. Even if I enjoyed Venom, we're
just because we're live doesn't mean that I can't beep. Let's see, I'm trying.
Oh, so like,
no, that's not that.
The problem is I'm in my own home.
Right.
Just a little bit more of the swearing and the blackness just comes out where I'm just like, but I'll try and rein it back in.
Well, what's funny is that there's just so much about this that it's like, first of all, they don't pay enough attention to go, oops, we have to like move all our 90s
right
now. That means the writing's not great. You can tell that they don't know what the hell they're doing as far as continuity movie. Look at what they did with that stupid Michael Keaton scene in Morbius, which made no sense whatsoever. So if they are moving him into this other universe, Vulture, they move him in there, but yet Tom Holland is still there, Spider-Man. And I think that if they were going to look, I'm glad and disappointed at the same time that Andrew Garfield was not in this.
Yeah.
I'm bummed because I thought Sony dropped the ball tremendously for not having immediately after No Way Home. They should have had a Tobey Maguire and an Andrew Garfield movie set and ready to go. That movie would have made $1 billion. If they would have had it ready to go, $1 billion, the two of them somehow were able to, coexist, or give them each an Andrew Garfield movie, a Tobey Maguire movie. That should have been your first two things. Yes, you would have had to pay more money than you did for Madam Web and the other one, but you're coming off of a hot movie. That how much did No Way Home make?
1.3,
Did
I
it?
think.
Let's
I think
see.
it was 1.3.
Okay, let's see. I'm very curious to see how much it made, but nonetheless, they dropped 1.9. 1.9.
It almost hit 2.
Wow. Wow.
So wait, then
Wow.
was that Top Gun's number 1.3? Somebody
I don't know.
somebody
Either way, it made
doesn't matter. It's almost $2
it's
billion.
almost $2 billion
That's
movie,
crazy.
and they did nothing with it. Sony did nothing with it. Insane.
You know what would have been really interesting if you're like, we just want to do like a quick little check-in with it would have been really fun to almost treat it like a grindhouse type situation and have like a little 1-hour short film of each of the Spider-Men just to see what they've been up to. So like, how did Toby end up in this situation where, because it sounds like him and Mary Jane weren't together anymore.
Right.
Was that it? And then Andrew, like, how did he process?
No. Tobey Maguire and Mary Jane
were together.
They were married, yeah.
Okay, so like, where was he at now as old ass Spidey? I would have loved like literally give me an hour of each of them, of what they're doing, and eventually like do the grindhouse situation, put it in as a feature film out there like that. I thought that would have been awesome.
No, instead they're so sold on these like spin-off. They've been trying to do it forever, these spin-off movies that no one gives a crap about, and it's like, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, they got lucky with Venom, so they're still trying to do all these different things with it. They were like, oh, finally, let's put Spider-Man in it. So the bummed part about it is putting Andrew Garfield and explaining his parents finally and doing that. I was like, okay, that would make sense if they can actually pull it off. And then they go, no, we need to do what's hot. We need to do what's hot. The Marvel one, get the Marvel one, get the MCU one. Do that. Even though it doesn't really necessarily make sense, let's do that. And then they decide, no, we don't want to spend that kind of money. We want to dumb down the budget. And I do normally say dumb down the budget, but if you're putting it in a Spider-Man universe, if your movies are average, your Spider-Man, not your Spider-Man adjacent, but if your Spider-Man movies are pulling billions, and the only Spider-Man adjacent movie that's still pulling, but like the first Venom made like 900, didn't it? Something like that. I mean, yeah, they did. I'll double check, but you could give your point. Yeah, but I just, if you know that is a cash cow, then you should lean into that as much as possible. Like, I don't think we have seen that much, like, because I know Avatar made significantly more money. I think Avatar was like 2.4. Well, Venom made 856, and the second one made like 500. Okay, which is still, I can't imagine they spent that much, right? Enough to on either of those Venom movies. But when you consider that Avatar made 2 billion, 2.3, whatever it was, right? But did not have nearly as much like hype the way No Way Home did. Right. Like the diehard Avatar fans, sure. I actually heard people talking about Top Gun and No Way Home as far as like that was in the zeitgeist. Whereas I felt like Avatar was just the Avatar folks. So if you've got the whole world by the balls, in a world where superheroes at this point, people aren't sure if they're really going to do this anymore. Like, we were right at that point where we were kind of teetering on the edge, where it was like, okay, are we going to move forward into phase 4 and 5 and feel good about stuff? Is DC going to kind of get out of this hole and everything, or are we not? And you just let it go. That just seems to focus on Morbius. Like, it doesn't. Yeah, it's the same way with the way they did that with Morbius, and the way that they kind of just threw. Oh, people will love it because it's an MCU reference. It just shows that it's that old school studio mindset. Even though you're making movies that feel like they're old school 90s movies, doesn't mean that you should make decisions like a 1990s movie studio executive, because there's nobody out there that's like trying to predict. It's like, I just feel like you and I, if we're sitting in that room in 2020, 2021 going, all right, guys, look, this is the return of Andrew and Andrew and Toby. The people are going to lose their minds. They both want to come back. We own those properties. We can make Spider-Man movies outside in that. Let's line this up now. So after this movie comes out, we can announce it and we can say, we've got it. It's coming out. That's how Sony would have made hand over fist instead of like, oh, let's try this random character nobody cares about, and then let's maybe throw Spider-Man in there and not. It's like it's so silly.
It's at the very least, you have something in your back pocket just to see how No Way Home does.
Yeah.
And then the minute you see, oh my God, we already hit a Billy, because they hit a Billy fast. I want to say it was in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but dude, during even the buildup before the leaks, the buildup was, are they going to return? That's what everybody was talking about. Were those two guys going to return? That alone would say there's excitement for these guys to come back. And then you start, because then the movie was tracking and tickets. Once the pre-sale and all that stuff, like, let's move through development on this. It's like the fact that they didn't try to get a standalone movie with either one of those guys, because they're both going to come back for Secret Wars. They're both going to come back for that movie.
I would assume so.
Of course, they're going to show for that, because Marvel Studios are going to throw the bank at them. Sony is hesitant for some stupid reason, and then they do this movie. Now, this is more bad press for this film, which is not great, because who this news really caters to are the people like us and the hardcore fans and people who maybe will see this movie. And if they know, like, okay, maybe the people who were excited for it are going, I don't know.
It's funny because just based off of what I have seen so far, it feels like, because I heard somebody talking about how it's because it drops Valentine's Day, doesn't it?
Yes, because I mean, well, we could probably, because Dakota Johnson has been notoriously, with 50 Shades of Grey, is
right,
Valentine's Day,
right. So I heard somebody be like, this is them essentially making the Terminator a Galentine's Day film, because since it's the four lady, like Dakota Johnson taking her 3 girls with her, and they're like, we gotta save your life, like whatever. That's kind of how they're going about it. And the only difference is, I know you didn't like the Marvels. I'm surprised the vitriol that the Marvels got both before and after isn't already being applied to this film, just because it actually looks bad.
But there's no, but this is the difference, is that from the get-go, this is attached to a studio that you kind of expect the worst from in the first place now, whether it's this or whether it's Morbius or whether it's what's the other one coming out, the what's his face, Aaron Taylor Johnson, what's the one that he's got coming out, Craven. So no one's expecting anything from those movies. The Marvels is connected to a property,
everything,
connected to everything that has been so successful, and they're kind of on this down the decline, if you will. So people are just like, come on, get it back together. Back to Sony's like, there goes Sony again. It's like, again, here goes a sports analogy. It's like a team that normally comes in second to last place. If they lose, you go, okay, well, that's they won a game. That's cool. Good for them. But it's like when the championship team or when a first place team starts losing games, you're like, what are they doing?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to talk about it.
Marvel's the Cowboys right now. But you hear what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do.
And that's what it is. And so I think that's the reason why it's not getting, because everybody just expects us to be the farts.
Wait a minute, dude. Oh my God. Phases 1 through 3. That's all the 90s Dynasty Cowboys.
Yeah,
100%. 4 and 5 has been everything since.
Yeah, anybody.
Oh my God.
If you have a team that won champion, I could, put the same logic to Yankees. It was during the 90s. It's what the Marvel Studios were from phase 1 through 3, and then the last 10 years could be or more, since 2009 could be the season. So we understand, as Yankees and Cowboys fans, we understand. But anyway, there's just so much. Like, I'm still gonna. What's funny is, I do feel, you mentioned it earlier, that we'll go see the screening, and I like the difference when I put out an Echo. I did a reaction to Echo, the episode. The first one did like 10,000. Then I did the second one. It did like 2,000. Deleted it off the channel. And then I didn't do them anymore because people didn't give a shit. They didn't care. I think people will care, not necessarily see it, but I think people will care to hear what people are saying about this movie, because they want to see, is it the farts? Did it actually come back and have anything decent?
Right.
I'll ask the people in the live chat right now, when you see the out of the theater reaction to this movie, would you be curious to click on it? Yes or no? And then not, and then I'll ask after I see those results. Then I'm curious who's actually going to go see this movie in the chat. You know, so I'm very, very curious. Very curious. Anyway, so yeah,
I'll tell you, it's wild, man, because again, the only reason I am seeing this movie is because it is our job. Because the character of Madam Web has never been interesting to me. Like, she's fine, she's clairvoyant, and she just kind of is like, hey, Peter, you should do this thing. That's pretty much what she does. She has some storylines and stuff like that, but again, there are far more interesting characters. I would have been excited about a Black Cat film, to be honest with you. If we're really going to do the spin-off stuff, give me that. That would have been great.
Right, would have made more sense. But Matt B says that the out of theater reaction will be the closest thing I get to seeing this movie, unless you say it's good. But that's my point.
That's fair.
What if you and I see it and we're like, whoa, wait a minute? Because that's also possible. If we're like, what? Because I always think of Edge of Tomorrow. Those trailers weren't great.
No, they weren't.
And that's a fantastic film. Now, do I think this is going to be Edge of Tomorrow great? I don't. But I will absolutely say it if it will. If I'm like, dude, they did, like, wow, this is a really, what I will say at that point is whoever's cutting the trailer should be fired. Now, if you come out of it and the trailer made it look better, you say whoever cut that trailer needs a raise, you know, like, because it could be a flying fart.
Absolutely, man. I've always said too that, like, I will always see a time travel or like a variant type situation. It doesn't have to be a Marvel or a DC thing. I'm always fascinated by that, both from an acting standpoint. It's really cool to see an actor have to act across from themselves and to properly get those reactions. I think that's always fascinating. But those stories are also just fun. Like, there's a reason why Everything Everywhere All at Once won like it did, because it was, when done properly, that was absolutely phenomenal. So, like, I'm hoping this is good. Not a single thing, not the premise, not the characters, not the trailer has gotten me excited about it, though.
I do love Dakota Johnson, I'll tell you that, but I just don't.
She's all right.
See, I'm a fan, but I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? Make sure you comment. Let us know whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay. Tell us, do you think that this movie has an outside shot? Because there's not a lot of competition during that weekend also, because it is Valentine's Day weekend. I don't know if it's the thing's going to get people all worked up. But Winston, I'll tell you what will get people worked up. Manscaped and Blue Chew, both
Valentine's
together. I mean, you take care of yourself, you take care of your bits and pieces, and you really take care of your bits and pieces. Let me tell you about both of them right now. Cheers to the new year from our friends over at Manscaped, because your resolutions shouldn't be the only things that are well kept. 2024 is the time for new heights, new opportunities, and a new look for your Times Square balls. Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, it's every man's cheat to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Whether you're looking to maintain a trim or go for the clean-shaven look, the trimmer has you covered. It's trusted by over 10 million men worldwide. Now is your time to get a grip on your grooming with our exclusive offer. You got to go to manscaped.com. Use that code BIGTHING. You get 20% off and free shipping. Happy New Year, or happy new balls, whatever you want to do. I love Manscaped, been using them forever. I can't even imagine a world when I didn't have Manscaped. It's the best. It's like having a personal stylist at your fingertips, or wherever you need it, actually. And if we didn't mention, it's waterproof, because a trim in the shower is the only way to start the day. It's the best. I love the grooming kit. In the grooming kit, you get the trusted lawnmower, you got the Manscaped ear and nose hair trimmer, and the essential aftercare products with the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. Yes, it's deodorant for your balls. You didn't think you needed it, but you do. Let's face it, resolutions might come and go. Well-groomed you, that's here to stay, baby. Thanks to Manscaped. One more time, get 20% off and free shipping. Got to use that code BIGTHING at manscaped.com, because nothing says Happy New Year like a deal that leaves your balls and your budget feeling refreshed. Embrace a new you, and definitely embrace a new trimmer. That's courtesy of Manscaped. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about sex. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Everybody, you're like, yeah, back in the day, go whenever I wanted to. Well, now you can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew's no joke. It's pretty great. It's a unique online service, and it delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them whenever, daytime, night. You can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is super simple. You sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, then you receive your prescription within days. And the best part? All online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So, for me, yes, it works. And the thing is, you know, I didn't think I needed it, but hey, you try it for a month and you see, you love it. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. I'm telling you. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Do it. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. They do. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. Love that. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. You got to try Blue Chew free, but you got to use that promo code BIGTHING at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. Promo code BIGTHING to receive your first month free. Yeah, do you hear that? Free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we got to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. See? I'm telling you. No joke. No joke. Blue Chew and Manscaped, baby. Blue Chew and Manscaped. Is that Valentine's Day or what?
I mean, bro, I gotta give you credit because I clearly you spruced it up with the editing, man. Like that music, I was like, I almost was like, Christian's gonna put the camera back on me, and I'm not gonna be here.
That's what someone said in the chat. They're like, this music makes me want to get my chew on. I said,
like,
yeah,
bro, I straight up was about to be like, baby, get out. I don't care you in a meeting. We go into the bedroom. We gotta go right now.
Yeah, it's like Blue Chew and Manscaped both deserve good music. Sure. So anyway, if you guys want to help out the show and you want to get going, then use those codes, man. You'll be thanking me, I guarantee you. All right, Winston, let's move on. There's a lot of Daredevil stuff. Did you see that in the news?
I have been.
A lot of Daredevil stuff. Let's go with this one. So the first part of it is Daredevil Born Again is days away from resuming production. The episode count now is not finalized. They were going to do like 57 episodes the first time. When Daredevil Born Again was first announced at Comic-Con 2 years ago, Kevin Feige revealed that the show would run for an unprecedented 18 episodes, but a lot has changed since then. In the midst of a major creative overhaul, it seems quite a few things are still in flux, including the episode count. A recent rumor claimed that the show would likely run for 9, possibly 6, before taking a mid-season break. And while this is yet to be confirmed, Vincent D'Onofrio has admitted that nothing has been finalized just yet. He says, the amounts of episodes keep fluctuating, so I really don't know the number that we're at right now, but it seems like there are a few shots that could work with more episodes, then some that just need 10 or 6. Echo is like 5, the actor told comicbook.com. I think this show could definitely work with more episodes, and I know that Charlie is, and I am too, happy to do that, but the number keeps fluctuating. I think you're going to have to wait for an official announcement because I don't want to say a number that we are going to do because I'm not quite sure what it is. We may have a long time to wait for that announcement because D'Onofrio also confirmed that production is set to resume a few days from now after a lengthy strikes-related hiatus. Shortly after the strikes were resolved, we learned that Marvel execs reviewed some footage from the show while filming was paused and decided that a significant creative reboot was in order. Head writers Chris Ord, Matt Corman, along with directors for the remaining episodes, were let go, and Kevin Feige is said to have signed off on a pretty major course change. Last we heard, the Punisher writer, Dario Scarpadine, no way I said that right, had come aboard as the new project showrunner with Moon Knight Helmers, Justin Benson, Aaron Moorhead on directing duties. Born Again will see the Man Without Fear face off against his old nemesis, Wilson Fisk, with John Bernthal also set to return as Frank Castle. Now, initially, Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wolfe were not going to be part of the series, but after the revamp, it seems like they're going to reprise their roles as Foggy and Karen after all. Yes, there's a lot going on. I think that this is a difference, right? Sometimes when there's reshoots and there's redos and all this, you're like, oh no. I think this was the smartest thing that they could have done for this show. I think that they said, look, we're going to go in this kind of more, the Hawkeye version of these characters, She-Hulk version of these characters. And then everyone's like, what are you doing to these characters? And they went, well, maybe they're not responding to that. Right. And this show is not really playing that way, because they were adamant this is not a continuation of Netflix. Those characters won't be in this show. And they went, the hell with it. Let's just continue it. We had a hit thing. You know, granted, it was on Netflix. It was not really us, but we can just basically, it's like when Netflix takes over shows from different networks, right? And they continue it on. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think this is very smart. And I don't think 18 episodes is the way to go. I think 6 to 9 is absolutely the smart way to go. But I don't know, man, what say you?
I am happy that they are taking their time with it, because I think they are aware of the fact that if they screw this up, I think that's a wrap. And I know specifically from the standpoint of, I don't know anybody that had any sort of beef with the Netflix Daredevil. The only show called A Show and a Half that people had beef with were Iron Fist, which was terrible, and then The Defenders, which was okay, but I think we were expecting a lot more after getting Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage all being bangers, you know? So I think the smartest thing they can do above all is to make sure that they get this right, because at this point, I saw an interesting quote when someone was talking. I'm not going to go full sports here, but they were talking about the Cowboys, and they were like, "Oh, can people ever trust Dak Prescott again?" And then someone goes, "Remember, trust and respect are earned and can be just as easily lost. If anything, they can be lost easier than they can be like gained in the first place." They're at a stage right now where they have lost people's trust and respect. Not fully, but people are essentially 1.5 feet out the door. Like, they're real close to just being gone. And I think making sure that everything going forward hits. So Deadpool, Daredevil, like those are the two major elements you're doing. X-Men, what is it? X-Men 97, right? Whatever it is, it's the X-Men cartoon that's coming out. All of those are key moments that if you were going to get someone to stop and turn around and come back to the party, that is how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you're wrong. I think there's a lot there that they definitely need to do, and I think that they understand that they need to revamp stuff, and they need to get people to not only say, as we did with Echo, right? It's fine. They need some. It's awesome. They need some really, like, it's not just the everything is awesome crew that's going to say everything is great. They need to get everybody to say, look, I've been tough on them. Man, that was a great show. Holy crap, Deadpool 3, that delivered. Man, I didn't know what to expect from Fantastic Four, but what a fantastic movie. You know, all the, like, that's what they need right now. They don't need, like, again, you're gonna get the people who are gonna hate it no matter what. You're gonna get the people who love it no matter what. But you need the people that are just kind of like, I don't know about Marvel. You need them to say that, oh, they're back.
It's you want them to say they're back because I think the only thing that's more exciting than, did you see this new thing? Is like, bro, it's back, baby, it's back. Like, there's something about, because now you're like, again, the reason why we've tapped into so much nostalgia IP is from the standpoint of when The Force Awakens came out, people were like, oh my God, Star Wars, dog, it's back. And then at the very, you're like, oh my God, Luke Skywalker was like that. What's gonna happen next? Like, you need that energy right now.
Yeah.
Because again, this is we've been in a relationship for 11 years. We at this point we've broken up, and it's that moment in the movie where it's like, are they gonna stay broken up, or are they gonna sort this out and get back together and live happily ever after? And we're at that stage right now. So yeah, I hope they do, because it has been some of the best movies that we have seen when it's at its best. Some of the best movies we have seen, period. Like, I know Scorsese doesn't believe that, but like, come on now. Like,
there's a lot of good stuff that and the potential of it too. And look, and I think that they also they need to figure out how to appease everyone and not go towards one fan base. They need to appease everyone, and that's what they have not been doing lately. And I think that they need to do that. I think they need to appease the casual fan more so than anyone. The casual fan needs to be the one who needs to be catered to. And that has not been the case. And it's going to be a little harder until they get out of the multiverse. But Well, before we move on, I also, as we saw, so there's tons of super chats. As I said, throw them in now. Any questions you want to ask, and if we missed any topics that you want us to cover, obviously throw them in there now or when we start covering them, so we don't miss them. Because I picked up the stories that I thought people wanted to hear about, but there might be other ones out there that you want to talk about for sure. Okay, so let's stay with Daredevil for a second, Winston, because the other thing was that Daredevil Born Again, there are new details about the show's overhaul revealed. Not everything from Netflix is canon. So what does that mean? What does that mean?
What?
I don't like when they do that. It's like, just make a decision. This is like the James Gunn type stuff. It's like, what do you mean?
Jesus
Daredevil
Christ.
Born Again is being creatively overhauled by Marvel Studios, and now we have a new detail about what's happening behind the scenes and just how much of what we saw on Netflix is actually canon. From Josh Wilding. When it became apparent that Daredevil Born Again wasn't working, Marvel Studios chose to go back to the drawing board. It's almost inevitably going to delay the Disney Plus series, but based on what we're hearing, it's probably for the best. Jeff Sneider talked about what he heard about on John Roca's show, The Hot Mic, and we previously heard that roughly 9 episodes of Daredevil Born Again were shot before production ended up being halted. Now that's been whittled down to 6, as we mentioned previously, with new showrunners Dario Scardapane. I'm going to say Scardapane this time, enlisted to make sense of it all. That's including writing, directing a new pilot episode, and the plan is for still the 18 episodes to be split into 2 halves. Why isn't the second half being referred to as season 2? Contractual obligations, apparently, and likely a means of paying those in front and behind the camera less money. Snyder would go on to reiterate that there's going to be roughly a year between each batch of episodes, suggesting that the series will be shooting when we all sit down to watch the premiere. As for how Daredevil Born Again ties into Netflix's Daredevil, Roca explained that while the shows are now considered canon, not everything is being carried over. Instead, Marvel Studios will continue to pick and choose what it wants from the past without being beholden to Marvel Television's creative decisions. What was not going to be the same Daredevil from Netflix is now going to be the same Daredevil from Netflix, the host explained, with the asterisk of not everything is canon. Thus far, we've seen Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Spider-Man No Way Home and She-Hulk Attorney at Law. The expectation initially was that those were meant to softly reboot the hero for the MCU, but it's not that simple. I really thought the ship had sailed, Charlie Cox said last year about Daredevil. I thought it was over, and it had been a couple of years since Netflix series had ended. What I didn't know is that there was an embargo on the character and the amount of time, I think it was 2 years, from the amount of the time after the show was canceled before Disney and Marvel could approach us. I didn't know that, so I thought it was over. And Vincent, who plays Wilson Fisk, he and I would chat occasionally on the phone, and he said, I'm sure they're going to bring us back. And I'm on the phone like, this guy's delusional. He's got to let it go. And then during COVID, I went out for a walk with my wife, and when I got back, there was a voicemail, and it said, my name's Michelle. I'm Kevin Feige's assistant. Can you give us a call? The cast of this series includes Charlie Cox, and it goes through the whole cast. Yada, yada. Michael, I love that Michael Gandolfini is in this. I didn't realize.
That's good. That's good. I like that a lot.
Love Michael Gandolfini. Perfect.
Yeah.
I hope he's a bad guy.
That'd be great.
It'd be great. So, I mean, I don't know what Roca means. And I have to probably ask him on Monday when he's on the show, but I don't know what he means about like some stuff is canon, some stuff isn't. What does that mean?
So it would be confusing, but the best thing that they can do, because I understand what they're saying, if there is something specific story they're trying to tell, if you are fully beholden to everything that happened in that show, that can be rough. And again, it could be a very weird, confusing situation. But if you do it properly, in the same way that we saw some of the stuff in Loki, how those little variants are just slightly different and whatnot from the various multitudes of things happening. If what you're saying is that this Daredevil that is actually in the MCU right now is just the MCU variant, so the Marvel TV one really was a different variant of Daredevil, but like enough of the things line up. Because again, if you think about the whole idea of a varying timeline, it's like, am I going to eat eggs for breakfast or am I going to eat cereal? It's just that little divergent path. So if the difference here is like at one point in the Daredevil TV show, Elektra dies once. If it's like, oh, she didn't die that one time,
right?
Then fine. Okay, then little things like that. However they want to do it, I think you just have to explain when you get to Secret Wars,
Yeah.
you see the different Charlie Cox and like, oh, that was the actual Marvel TV Charlie Cox Daredevil.
So
and then this is the one.
It's so
it can be,
No,
but
no.
Loki did it right. But
Yeah,
Loki did it right.
But
so you just have to.
Loki did it right, but Loki did it right for especially for us and for people who are really paying attention to it. But I'm really trying to protect the casual viewer here.
I get it.
Like
I get it.
When you say this person did this, and this is variant 175 from planet 632 and green grass up in the sky instead of on the ground. It's like what are you talking about? It's like it's too much. It's too much.
So I think the way you do it is similar to when Loki had that episode where he was with the various versions of him, and that when he got pruned and he saw like the alligator Loki and the president Loki and the kid Loki and all that. If the way you do it, and you would have to essentially wait until you get to Secret Wars, and that's the part that makes it rough. If you get to that point where you go, oh look, and then here like you said, here is variant XYZ, and you just point, you don't then have to dive into it. You just acknowledge that it's a thing, and then you move on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So Green Ninja, listen. You're talking about it. He's like, not that everything is confusing again. To casual viewers, like even Loki, if my dad pops into Loki, that show ain't for my dad. That show is not for the casual viewer. That Loki is targeted towards a specific, and then the ratings were okay, by the way. Great show, probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Great show, but targeted towards an audience that on TV, if you're watching, you go, great. In a movie like Secret Wars, you have to make everyone understand what's going on. You have to, because that Loki alligator and that, if you did that in the movie, you're going to lose half the people that are the casual audience. The people who are watching Loki are tuned in for it because they're Marvel fans. They want to see it, and it makes sense. You can do all that stuff. In a movie, you got to simplify it, because it does become too confusing, Mr. Green Ninja. It does. It becomes too, not for me, not for you, not for Winston, because we're paying attention to this stuff. If you're running a business, Green Ninja, in a comment like that, I would not have you running my business. I would have you nowhere near the business thing, because if you think that the too confusing argument shouldn't be a conversation to have for the casual viewer, then you have nowhere near business. Now, if you're talking about us and you're like, come on, Harloff, you cover this stuff all the time, why do you think it's confusing? Then I'm with you. But I'm not saying that for me. I'm saying it for the casual viewer.
It's a strong argument there, Mr. Harloff.
So, I mean, that's all it is. So, I mean, but nonetheless, it does go for the fact that Daredevil alone is going to be a good, as I said, a rehaul is a good rehaul. I just think that they shouldn't just make it all canon. No one's going to care. I mean, the same thing. My same argument with the casual viewer. They're going to think that it's canon anyway. They're not going to know what's canon and what's not canon. As long as you say, yeah, it's connected to the Netflix. That's it. Don't take little things here and there. That makes no sense. So that's it. So all right, let's see. I think there's one more thing that I want to bring up before we, again, let's get to the, make sure that you guys throw in those super chats. Anything you want to bring up, let's do it. Let's bring it up. And again, Mr. Ninja, not picking on you in general, sir, but I'm just saying, when you say things like that, not hear the not that argument again. That argument needs to be made when you're losing that much money, when your movies aren't hitting and you're losing the casual audience. So please, Mr. Ninja, if you want to get in there and want to have part of the conversation, I'm asking for all those people who want to have those super chats, throw them in there. Let your voices be heard. Oh, that's what I want to talk about, Winston.
What happened?
This Fantastic Four thing that they did.
Okay, what did they do?
They put together this whole report on Fantastic Four. Where is it? And it's essentially just like everything we know about Fantastic Four so far. Oh, did I lose it? I don't know where the hell it was. I wish I would have bookmarked the damn thing. But it was this thing I saw this morning that they did. It was, yeah. Let me see. I'll just throw it in the search and see if I can find it. But maybe what we'll do in the meantime is we'll talk about this Channing Tatum thing, and then I'll go back to that. Let's go to the Channing Tatum story. Channing Tatum confirms involvement in the Max movie. I'm so excited for this. AKA Harloff has no freaking idea what this is. A recent rumor in the long and developed movie based on Image Comics titled The Max was moving forward with Channing Tatum in the lead role, and the actor has confirmed. After a few years without a single update, Daniel Rickman recently reported that a live-action movie based on The Max is finally moving forward at Paramount Pictures with Channing Tatum attached. Though things have changed on this front. The trades had said that Tatum and Roy Lee had teamed up to produce via free association, along with principals Reed Carolyn and Peter Kiernan, with Lee on board. The Max creator Sam Keith was also set to produce. So they now Tatum has taken to Instagram to confirm his involvement with the project, and he did this whole big post you can see where he was, "Oh my God, I'm so excited for this! I can't even explain it. The Max, this is a childhood love of mine. The truly brilliant, genius creation of Sam Keith. When I was grounded and wasn't allowed to watch TV, this was the cartoon on MTV's Oddities I'd risk it all for. Sneak out of bed and put it on and pray I didn't get caught. Even now, after all this time, it feels somehow just still ahead of its time. The characters in this, the Max, Julie Winters, and Mr. Gone taught me things about life, seeded complex ideas in my young mind that had a profound effect on how I viewed the world and the roles we play that I only intellectually understood way later. I can't wait to bring this to life and try to bring it to generations that miss it." All right, so he seems pretty passionate about it. Winston, you're familiar with this?
It is this much over my head in the fact that I do remember the cartoon. I have a vague remembering of it. I think, like, sadly, the Saturday morning cartoons like James Bond Jr. are more lodged in my brain. But I like seeing the image, and I Googled it while you were talking just to see, and I'm like, yeah, it does look super familiar. But I can't say that like I'm super well versed in it, just because we're talking about I'm a child when this is out, and it was a darker kind of property. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like it's one of those things where like I only know so much about Spawn for the same reason. I was a kid and my parents were like, "No, you can't be looking at all that." Right. So but if he's excited about it and knowing that I'm looking at it and go, "Oh wait, okay, this is kind of ringing some bells," I'm here for it. I've said this over and over again. I don't have a problem with IP. I have a problem with beating the same IP to death. So just give me something different. Give me something new. And in this case, this is something new enough that we haven't had a live action version of it before. We're talking about the 90s since this was really relevant to most people. Let's do it. I'm totally here for it.
I would say I don't know a damn thing about this. I don't know when it was on TV. I don't know. I've never heard of it until 5 seconds ago. But I really liked his post. I don't think it was hyperbole. I don't think it was him just trying to promote a movie. I believe him. I believe that he knows exactly what the hell this is, and this is his Deadpool. And good for him. Maybe it's fantastic. I don't know. I mean, it seemed to really have an impact on him, something he's wanted to do for a long time. So I anytime someone's that excited about something and really wants to bring you something, the passion behind it, like as I use the example for Deadpool. Like if this is his Deadpool, then show me what it is. Bring it to the forefront.
That to me, I think, is the thing that people need to anchor on. Yeah. I think people need to look at the passion at which Ryan Reynolds was obsessed with Deadpool and then did everything in his power to make it as succinct with what the character actually is and stands for. Yep. I need people to come with that kind of energy to these films going forward, because otherwise, if they don't have that passion and they don't care, I'm not gonna. Right. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. All right. Look, we're gonna move to. I'm gonna do the Fantastic Four thing. We're gonna get to some pictures. Sure. Questions. But I'm excited to tell you guys both about two things that have been helping out me, people in my family. General, I'm going to tell you about both Magic Spoon and BetterHelp right now, and then we're going to get into the Fantastic Four, and then we'll get into your questions. Here we go. I'm so excited to have Magic Spoon back. So you guys have said it. You said it to me lately. You go, "Hey, you lost some weight, man. You're looking good." I've been trying. My New Year's resolution was to cut back on sugar, add protein to my diet, and I stay on track with my fitness goals. So I was excited to get Magic Spoon back on the rotation. Makes it easy, and it's more delicious than ever now. Growing up, I love cereal. And not even just growing up. Recently, I've been trying. I've fired down sugary cereal for a snack, but the problem is when you get older, you got to watch out for those empty carbs because they add up. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors that you love, but it's got high protein and it's got less sugar. So for me, I did the protein shakes for a bit, but I wanted a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts, and it's good for a snack. Variety pack, they have cocoa, they have fruity, they have frosted, they have peanut butter. I mix the peanut butter and the cocoa. personally. This pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and about 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. There's only 140 calories per serving. High protein and 0 grams of sugar. It's amazing. So if you go to magicspoon.com/big thing, you can grab a variety pack and you can try it today. So be sure to use our promo code Big Thing at checkout to save $5 on your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it, any reason, they're going to refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, start the new year off with a great, delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/big thing and use the code Big Thing to save $5 off. That's magicspoon.com/big thing. This episode of The Big Thing is brought to you by BetterHelp. What are some things that you guys want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Where are you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Because around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. Or maybe you already finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another one. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. I have seen it. I've talked about it many times. You've been watching my show with people who have, Roxy Stryer has talked about it many times, how BetterHelp has helped her, people inside of my family, that BetterHelp has helped them. It's just, therapy can benefit you. Talking, it helps tremendously. So I've seen it. I've seen the effects. I've seen it around me. I've seen people who just have really, really benefited from talking. So if you are thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it's flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Very easy to do. So celebrate the progress that you've already made. You got to visit betterhelp.com/big thing today, and you get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/big thing. Thank you once again to our sponsors, Magic Spoon, and of course, this episode brought to you by BetterHelp. Helped me out tremendously. Last night, Winston, I was looking for a snack, man, and I've been very vigilant on this diet that I've been on lately. And after around like 8 p.m., you're never really supposed to eat anything unless it's protein. And I was like, I need something. And I had Magic Spoon, so I mixed it together. And I have to apologize to one of our viewers. I meant to hit a button, and I think I banned them from the channel, and I didn't mean to.
The funny thing is they didn't see your apology.
I know. Well, no, they don't get booted. They don't get booted from the room. They just can't post. They don't get kicked out. That Jermaine Hall. I did not mean to get rid of you, so I'm gonna try to add you back. It says it was banned. I didn't want to ban you. I didn't ban him. Stupid. I'm sorry. Oh no, he's back. Okay, good. Sorry, Jermaine.
Damn.
Sorry. By accident. I felt so bad. I was like, oh no. I was like going through his channel, make sure he wasn't banned. Poor Jermaine.
Damn, we just throwing black people out now, Kristian. Damn.
His name's Jermaine. Stop it.
I mean, I could see his little. The minute you said it, I know you told me to look at the comments. I went to go see. I see his little icon. This little black dude chilling out by a car. So,
Poor Jermaine. Anyway.
Also, yes, his name is Jermaine. I've never met a white Jermaine.
So that's what it is. As I went after Port Green Ninja before, and then I threw Jermaine out. I will say this, Jermaine, if you want to throw a super chat, and you can. I realized after I did that, I made fun of poor, or not made fun of. I just tried to. I just slapped the hand of Port Green Ninja, and then I was like, oh yeah, if you want to throw a super chat, and he yeah, you just nailed me all over. Yeah, sure. I'll put in a super chat. About 33 cents, you dill hole. Jermaine. Jermaine didn't even do anything.
Wait, did you see there was a sketch that someone did where it was these white parents and they just gave birth, and this black nurse comes up. She goes, okay, so I'm gonna put the name on the birth certificate. What do you want to go with? She goes, we want to name him LaShawn. And she goes, are you sure about that? And they go, yeah, it's just a beautiful name. It was like, do you know a LaShawn in your life? No, we just made it up right now. Like, I just
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, All right, let's do it. Let's get. I want to do this. So because we have a ton of super chats coming in. You guys can still put them in there for sure, Green Ninja. And we so let's get into. I want to talk about this Fantastic Four thing that they did, because Comic Book Movie will put out these lists. Highly recommend going over and checking them out. So Fantastic Four. These are 8 rumors that you need to know about the upcoming Marvel Studios reboot, and these are all like the list of the potential characters in there. You can see Pedro Pascal, you see Vanessa Kirby, you see our boy Joe Quinn. It's his name, right? I think so. And then the Thing himself, and then I think it's Cillian Murphy as Dr. Doom. But Fantastic Four may be one of the most widely discussed superhero movies on the horizon, and we've sifted through the BS to bring you a breakdown of the biggest and most reliable rumors about the reboot. Josh Wilding says, will we ever learn who are playing the leads in Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four? Well, with the movie set to be released next year, the news must be somewhere on the horizon. It's just taking longer than most of us would like. We know you're eager for the news on a project that's shaping up to be one of the most highly anticipated MCU movies ever made. The characters have been sidelined since 2015's disastrous reboot, but in the wake of the Disney-Fox merger, it can finally be utilized by Marvel Studios. Now, since Fantastic Four entered development with filmmaker Matt Shakman at the helm, there have been lots of big rumors about what to expect. Luckily, we've rounded up the biggest and most reliable to give you a better idea of what's heading our way in 2025. And the first one is a 60s set cosmic adventure. The rumor has persisted for a while, but multiple sources have described Fantastic Four as a 1960s set cosmic adventure. Depending on who you believe, that's either the era this iteration of the team hails from, or a period they're stranded in after the cosmic rays, which gives them the powers, also sends Marvel's first family back in time. We've even heard chatter about the reboot being partly shot with Super 8 style cameras. The Fantastic Four eventually arriving in the present day is inevitable. With that in mind, it makes more sense to send them back in time for a spell before they're able to return home, making this truly comic accurate origin story. Otherwise, how can we ever believe a scientist from the 60s is the MCU's smartest man in 2025? Okay, so there's I guess, is there another? Okay, Marvel, Dr. Doom's plans are starting to lose track of what's happening with Dr. Doom, depending on who you believe. And there might be more plans for him in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. There may have been plans for him in Wakanda Forever, only for the leader to be odd for his own Disney Plus series. The consensus as we write this, however, is that Doom will appear first in Fantastic Four, albeit in a single post-credit scene. He won't be the movie's big bad, but the reporter has claimed he could take Kang's place in the next Avengers movie. That's generated excitement. It still is like a misstep when the MCU hasn't established any rivalry yet between Doom and Richards. Mila Kunis's unexpected role is another rumor. When actress Mila Kunis was spotted meeting with Fantastic Four director, speculation about her possibility being in the running to play Sue Storm went into overdrive. However, we saw claims she might play the Thing. Seriously, the majority of fans were horrified over the prospect of Ben Grimm being swapped out. And then apparently Marvel Studios briefly considered it, but now moved on from it. The possibility of Kunis playing Sharon Ventura, aka the woman who eventually takes on the Thing-like appearance, possible. If so, we bet it's just a Ben love interest. Okay, Galactus and the Silver Surfer. So with Doom on the sidelines, all signs point to Marvel Studios going straight to Galactus. It sounds like Marvel's first family will encounter him in the 60s, saving Earth and Welsing as they've never been mentioned before, presumably not going down in history as the planet's saviors. With the multiverse in play, who knows what the plan is? And then we have to see if they're going to eventually be the two. Reed and Sue's dynamic. Reed Richards and Sue Storm are expected to be the heart of this movie. Even in terms of casting, the focus has remained on the two heroes. It seems like they're going to be married already when we meet them, at least in one draft. They were parents also. The comic book fans among you will know their children are potentially game changers for the MCU. There's also been chatter about a possible love triangle, presumably involving Ben giving his obvious love for Sue during the team's earliest adventures. The movie's lead is one rumor is that Sue Storm will be the lead, and we previously heard that Marvel Studios wishes to build the team around whoever's cast as Sue. Some are quickly going to say woke, but plenty of comics have gone down this route, and the team's early adventures did get the Invisible Girl as the leader. So let's see. Next one after that is Herbie, whatever that is. Do you know what that is, Herbie? Okay. We're going to get Fantastic Four's rumored cast. What about the rest of the reboots ensemble? Recently, we heard that Marvel Studios is also searching for 2 supporting parts with a male or female comic relief character and a male voice as an entirely CGI creation. Since then, it's been widely theorized it could be Herbie, the Fantastic Four's robotic helper, whoever that's going to be.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And then who's going to star in it? That's the big one. Well, isn't that the $1 million question? We hoped that Marvel Studios would have something. Instead, fans are still waiting. As things stand, we believe the 4 leads are going to be Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Paul Mescal, or Joseph Quinn for the Human Torch, and Eben Moss-Barack as the Thing. Antonio Banderas, Javier Bardem are contenders for Galactus, with Anya Taylor-Joy possibly his herald. When it comes to Doctor Doom, Ray Fiennes, I haven't heard that one yet. Jason Clarke, I like that one. I really like that Jason Clarke one. I haven't heard that. Cillian Murphy and Mads Mikkelsen have been mentioned. All right, so there's a lot. I mean, holy moly, there's a lot.
That's a lot. I honestly was doing the best I could to keep up here.
Yeah, we can talk about, there's just a bunch of them in there. We don't have to talk about all that, but to me, the stuff that really stands out is the cast alone. When are we going to get news? We are going to get news soon. The stuff I think is, if you're going to put like a lock, if you're like, okay, if I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to put money down, I think you put money down on Pedro Pascal. I think you put money down on Vanessa Kirby. I think you put money down, especially after his various wins for the Bear on Evan as the Thing. Joseph Quinn is still, I think he's a great choice for John. I think he's a great choice. So
who is he again?
He's in. Did you watch Stranger Things season 4?
Yeah.
He's Eddie.
Oh, long-haired dude, the guitar solo.
Yeah. Was fantastic I think it's great casting if they wind up getting him. Now Dr. Doom is the one where you got to throw money down and good luck to you, because the studio predictable Hollywood thing is that they go and get Cillian because he's Golden Globe winner and he's gonna put he's got a shot at winning the Oscar. So they want.
I would prefer. I don't want this, but if we're gonna go that route by who's the hot actor right now that's winning all the awards, I would take Giamatti over Cillian over Murphy
as Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I don't want that. He's low on my list, but I'm saying if what you're gonna do is let's look at the 5 nominees right now that are potentially gonna win best, I would take Giamatti before I would take Murphy, and it's not because I don't like Murphy. I just don't think it fits. I think there's something more to what Giamatti does in that kind of evil sense that I could see that, but no, that neither of them are actually the correct answer. We've talked about Cavill.
I love Paul Giamatti. I love him. I actually had a conversation. I've talked about this already on a couple of shows. I actually spoke to him for a little bit at the Critics' Choice Awards about UAPs, which is fantastic, and I talked to him for a while about it. He is, if it was between the two of them, and I'm taking Cillian Murphy.
I'm not.
Now, the other thing with side of that is that you also understand the studio is not. It's not. You're looking at, again, going back to business. Oppenheimer is almost $1 billion movie. Sure. So the Holdovers, as great as it is still a movie that casual viewers go, "What's that?" I'm talking about the studio saying, who's hot right now that everybody's talking about, that everybody knows inside the industry. Yes, people are talking about Paul Giamatti because he's winning everything. But I'm talking about the person that's putting down the money that's going to go, oh, that's Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's going to be in that movie.
I get that Paul Giamatti's been around long enough that people know. They may not know his name, but they're like, oh shit, that guy, he's great.
I'm going to agree to disagree with you that out of the two of them, I think
I would. I don't want either. That's not what I want, though. I don't want either of them. I want neither of them near this.
Right. I like that Jason Clarke pick. Really like that.
Jason Clarke's not bad. I still stand by you. We were talking about this way back. Yeah. Henry Cavill would crush this.
Oh, here's the guy.
I would love Henry Cavill in this. Yeah. But like, again, there are plenty of like who's hot right now actors that maybe they're not in like Oscar contention at this particular moment that would also be good. It's gonna sound weird, but to be honest with you, because they need to be same age-ish, and you could probably like try and age him up just a baby bit if you really have to. I actually don't even hate the idea of Jeremy Allen White if he was interested in doing it.
In Doom?
Yeah. Honestly.
I think the one thing, though, I think that he needs to be big. I think he just needs to be big.
You think he couldn't get big? You mean like physically tall, big?
Tall.
Okay.
Jeremy Allen White got huge for Iron Claw. You got
yeah.
So, but again, I got lucky enough that I got a chance to speak to him also. I mean, he's like, and I may be wrong, but I think he's like 5'9", 5'10". I just think that he needs to, that's why I've been saying Henry Cavill for the longest. He's got to be imposing. And then Jason Clarke's pretty tall too, man. So again, speaking of a guy that was in Oppenheimer, but like I'm gonna see what I love that. I haven't, he's 6'1". I haven't heard that. I love that Jason Clarke pick. Now the only difference is something that to go against what I've been saying previously, because I still think that this is true. I think Doom needs to be a little bit more of a famous person. I think it needs to be someone that can sell tickets, or someone that people, like you said, like, oh, that's that guy, or that's, oh shoot, Henry Cavill's gonna be in it.
So what you're saying trying to pitch this.
If everybody else is going to be unknown, Pedro Pascal's kind of a name though too now.
That's a big name.
Yeah, it's a big name.
That's a huge name at this point.
Too. Yeah.
But I see if you're trying to go with the idea of, when you think about, like, obviously they weren't like super A-list at this particular moment. But if you're talking about the idea of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen like headbutting each other, or the Sly Stallone and the Mr. T, and that's why that's also it's kind of its own box office thing. If that's what you're saying, then fine. Then yes, you can go. But I think if you just go get somebody that truly brings that role to life, and I'm not saying that there aren't A-list actors that can't do that. I'm just saying that, like, I would be less concerned about that.
Yeah.
As making sure it's done to a T correct. You already sold the tickets with Pedro, in my opinion.
Man,
so,
I mean, yeah, he's just so. I mean, a good villain like that too. I think someone brought Pavel, who's on our who's been on our UAP show, our highest rated UAP show. It's got like 330,000 views right now. So he suggested, and if he would have suggested this in May, I would have told him he's a lunatic. But now he suggested Josh Hartnett. I like that choice. Josh Hartnett.
I actually don't hate that, especially after you haven't
seen Oppenheimer?
I still haven't seen it yet.
Dude,
it's mainly because it's back in IMAX now. I was waiting till it was going to get re-released for the Oscars, so I'm planning on going this weekend.
Penny Dreadful, you're talking about, right?
Huh?
Penny Dreadful was the other thing that he was kind of
him. I was going to say a Black Mirror. I don't know if you're a big Black Mirror fan.
No, I know. I've never seen an episode.
Oh my God, you would love it.
That's what everybody says, but
especially this most recent season, there were hits and misses. But his episode with Aaron Paul was fucking fantastic. Okay. It was, and Hartnett was so. And so as far as, by the way, as far as Doom's height, Sans armor is 6'2", with the armor 6'7".
Someone said, who I like also is Alan Richson from Reacher.
Yeah, dude, he would also be really here's my only thing. He's not an idiot at all, but he plays a lot of meatheads.
Not in Reacher.
Is in Reacher? Is he
smart?
Huh?
Reacher's super smart.
I just have only seen I haven't watched the show, but I've seen all the clips of him just whooping everybody's ass. It just doesn't.
No, Reacher's super smart.
Okay, all right.
Then he was an attorney. Like, yeah.
Then I will take. I thought he was a Marine.
He was both.
Oh, he did both. Okay, then I take it back. I just have only seen him as in Titans. That character, again, kind of a meathead, and other things that he's done. It's just very much just like, I'm jacked, I'm gonna whoop your ass. So if I've only seen clips of being like, he's the one that hurt you.
Dude, that dude is a monster. Like I watched, he's a monster. I loved season 1 of Reacher. I loved it. And then so we finished it and we were like, that guy is just massive. And then I watched the trailer. He's somehow bigger in season 2. I was like, this guy should be a wrestler. He is so big. It's like that dude, if he played Doom, it's over. Nobody can beat him. That guy is going to be and should be a massive movie star, because he's like, and the thing is, he just plays so damn big. He's huge. That guy is huge. He's like the Hulk.
The only thing that I would say though is that Doom is not known for, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna be giant and whoop your ass. That's not Doom. Doom is like, you dare speak to Doom and snap his finger, and a laser and a magic missile hits you at the same time.
I'm just also really high on Reacher, but
which is fine.
So there's so much, guys, and I think Javier Bardem will wind up being Galactus for sure. I think that's going to be a lock, but go ahead, put your comments in there. What do you think? Let's get to your questions, Emma, because there's a ton of them. And as we go through as I mentioned to you, because we are live, we're here until the last one's gone. So if we're in the middle of it, it doesn't mean like, oh, they're not taking questions anymore. We're taking questions. We're taking questions all the way through until we finish. So we're going to talk about all of them. Winston and I are talking about them. And the first one, Winston, this is serious. Butt funnel just puts a horse head. Thank you, Butt funnel. Appreciate it.
Did I piss off the mafia? What the?
No, but he does that every time. I love.
Okay.
I love Butt funnel, and he just wants to be known. Let it known that he's here.
Okay.
Mike Joyce. Do all the Netflix series being canon in the MCU mean I need to watch Iron Fist?
No, you don't. You can watch our YouTube recap. Yeah, you can read the Wikipedia. Don't watch that show.
Yeah, I think that that's what they mean, though. I think that maybe that's what Roka was talking about, is the fact that you don't have to go back. It's not, you're not going to miss something if you haven't watched them. It'll help you if you watch them, but you're not going to miss anything. I hope that's kind of what they meant.
Yeah.
Haskell 420. Hey guys, Coogler and Michael B. Jordan doing a vampire movie. Let's go. Is Coogler directing it, or is Coogler writing it or producing it?
I would love the answers to these questions.
So let me see. From what Black Panther director Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan reteamed for vampire movie. Black Panther Wakanda Forever director Ryan Coogler has set his first project under his new media production company, and he'll be reteaming with frequent collaborator Michael B. Jordan, who worked with him on the Black Panther movies, as well as Creed and Fruitvale Station. The movie said to be top secret. Executives and buyers were forced to make the pilgrimage to the Beverly Hills office of WME, the agency that represents both of them, in order to take a gander at the script and get details. It's a genre feature, period element to the story. Jeff Sneider, I guess, broke it also in his newsletter. Jeff Sneider is crushing it right now. Snyder doesn't provide many new details, but he has heard that the movie will feature a vampire or vampires in some capacity. The period vampire is going to be directed by Ryan Coogler. Yeah. And you say that, then I'm excited about it. That guy could direct two people talking in front of a coffee machine for 2 hours, and I'd be excited about it.
Because he knows. That's the thing that Ryan Coogler does better, that I think right now anybody in Hollywood is completely humanizing his characters. Yeah. Like completely, even if they're super fantastical, even if they're troubled or anything like that. Like, I will never shake Fruitvale Station. That is one of the greatest movies I have ever seen, and he puts it in all of his work. I love it.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful movie. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm actually very excited, and it's not a knock on Marvel. I'm just very excited that Ryan Coogler is moving away from Marvel. And again, not a knock on Marvel. Just I want to. He just has so much. In the same way that I want Matthew Vaughn to move away from Kingsman, and I'm glad that he is with Argyle. Right? It's like I want to see them go outside of just one thing, because there's so much. Imagine if Christopher Nolan would have just stayed in the Batman world, we wouldn't have gotten Interstellar or Oppenheimer or all these things. And that's what I want to see, because I think Coogler is great. I don't think he's a good director. I think he's a great director. And I think that he is going to bring something different to a vampire movie. And we've seen hundreds of vampire movies. So that excites me. I'm very excited about that. Wicked Art, the great Wicked Art, who does by the way, the Capes and Cowls intro done by Wicked Art. Hey, Kristian and Winston, I just started issue 4 of Capes and Cowls. And Winston, this issue is all about your character. And when are we getting X-Men 97? Well, to address that, let's address the Capes and Cowls comic. If you don't know, Wicked Art did a he did 3 full issues. Big Balls is in there.
Wait, where's number 3?
It's on Patreon, man.
Oh, I'm not on the Patreon. I was on the website.
Yeah, it's on Patreon. The website's been down for 4 months. What are you talking about?
That's what I asked you about that the other day.
I'll get you a link. You got to see it. But what I'm going to actually do, and I've told him this too, is that I'm going to actually get everybody in studio, and we're going to record the lines for the characters, and we're going to, once he's done with all the issues, I'm going to put music over it. We're going to do like a full-on thing, and I'll put it for it, bro. Debut it in a Capes and Cowls episode. But you guys, it's really fantastic. He is so talented, and the issues have been great. 1 through 3 are on the Patreon right now. You can go to patreon.com/thebigthingshow and check it out. But he's done with issue 4. I have an email in my inbox. I got to check from him about that. I don't know when we're getting X-Men 97. Do you know? I know you saw like a trailer for it when we went to Disney that time, right?
Yes, it was awesome.
Okay.
It was so sick. Like
Okay.
I instantly was like, oh, give it to me now. I want it right now. I want it right now. Which ultimately I will say, because just to circle back to What If. Remember, I wasn't the biggest fan of the 2 episodes that we saw, but I really
Right.
loved
The full
the
season?
season of What If. I
Okay.
really
I haven't
loved it.
finished it. I gotta finish it.
Oh man.
All right, next question. Mike Joyce, Dallas keeping McCarthy. You okay with that, Winston?
No, I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm really not.
Funk Dini. Madam Web ain't getting any of my madam money. A bunch of people saying that too. Our good buddy, Galaghost. Hello. Good to catch you guys live. Question. This is not the first time that Holland is out of a Sonyverse movie. He was also supposed to be in Venom. How much influence do you think Feige had in terms of not allowing Spidey in Web? I'm sure he tried to discourage it. I would.
He may have played some sort of, he doesn't, because that's the thing, they don't have the rights to Spider-Man, so technically,
well, but they have a partnership when it comes to characters inside the MCU.
They do. So all I was saying is to that point, Feige can't technically do ish, but Sony also knows it's in their best interest to not necessarily piss him off because you made a $2 billion movie with it. So
I think he's probably just like, let's not do that, guys. I still think that they should have gone with the Garfield if they were going to go for it all. But I also am glad that if it is a stinker, then I don't want to see him back that way. I still think they should figure out a way and get them to do their own movies.
It would also, just from the standpoint of, because again, remember, you're playing, you're sharing on the playground here.
Yeah.
Venom warped into the Tom Holland universe and then warped out. Right. So it doesn't make sense to have Tom in them anyway. It would make more sense to have Andrew, since you already have a Toby Venom. So, oh God, I guess you already have an Andrew one.
Which one?
Remember, you had the weird. No. I guess that was Goblin. Never mind. The Goblin that they had just was really monstrous.
Oh yeah,
looking.
yeah. Right.
So
right,
I started thinking it was Venom. So yeah, you should use Garfield.
Town Matt 12. Hey, Chris, just got in. So sorry if you already talked about this, but have you seen the trailer for Godzilla minus color? And will you watch it in the theater? I have not watched it. To be honest, it doesn't excite me. I know there's a lot of people that are losing their minds over I loved -1. It's my favorite movie of the year last year. And I cannot wait for it to come out in Blu-ray. I don't need to see it in black and white because it's in color. I have it in color. I don't need to see it in black and white. I can do a setting on my television and turn it on black and white. I don't understand. I don't understand why people are losing their minds over it. I say good for people if they're excited, but no, I don't. I would much rather see it again in IMAX in the way that I saw it. I don't care about black and white.
I wish
the appeal for black and white for that film. I don't get it.
I wish they would re-release it in color so I could see it in color. I don't. Black and white doesn't. Black and white doesn't do it for me unless that is the point of a movie.
Have you not seen it yet? Then you need to wait, and then that's the first one we'll do as a reaction on the channel.
All right,
because that's a movie that I want to watch again. I would love to watch that with you for sure.
But I want to see it in IMAX, bro.
Yeah, well, I know that Dune's coming back in IMAX next. The first one is coming back next Wednesday. I'm going to see it either. Oh, you want to go see that with me?
Yeah. What time?
At the theater? I don't know. So Wednesday night, we'll figure it out.
Okay, because I work until the afternoon. So
all right, let's figure it out. Let's go see it Wednesday night.
Cool.
All right, D-Man, I like that. 05. Sony has a good chance this year to destroy comic book movies before Deadpool 3 gets a chance to save the genre. I don't think that they're going to. I think because the thing is, if there was an excitement for it and people wanted to go see it, and then it was a big fart pile, then that would. But nobody wants to see this movie. I don't think. No. So I just. It's not going to hurt. It won't hurt. In the same way that there were some bad movies that kind of came out during the Marvel era too, and it didn't hurt any of the Marvel things. If anything can come back. Anything, you make a good movie, anything can come back. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt it. All right, next one. Corey M. I think Andrew doesn't want to work with Sony. Sony has the money, but they've been producing mostly bad live action movies. I mean, you put a big enough truck of money in Andrew Garfield's backyard. I think he's going to, he really loves playing Spider-Man. He really loves playing Spider-Man. But I think he probably would much rather do it with a team where you're not wrong, where that they would be, excited. What do you think, Winston?
Yeah, I think there was also something very special for him, as it was for everybody, to do this too. I'm sure he would love playing Spider-Man again, but I also don't blame him. I think he's less concerned about Sony making bad action movies as he might be of how Sony treated him the first time and how this whole thing kind of came to pass. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he was treated poorly though. I don't think.
I thought the whole idea of like they just were like, and it's over, and it's gone.
And I don't think the last one did very well. It wasn't very. I don't think it had a lot of. I don't think it had a lot of, and it definitely was super low rated, and like they were getting to a place. Remember those movies? Those Andrew Garfield movies came into play because they didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose Spider-Man, owning Spider-Man, because they were supposed to do Spider-Man 4 with Raimi and Garfield. That thing was ready to go,
right?
And then it fell apart. And then they're like, "Well, we gotta put together a movie fast because we're gonna lose Spider-Man if we don't make one." So they fired it together, put Andrew Garfield in there. Andrew Garfield got a lot of slack at first when that came out. It was 2012 when that movie came out, and yeah, so they made the movie, and I think he was a really good Spider-Man, but I don't know. I'd love to see him back and him doing another movie, and I'd love to see. Yeah, and I'd like to see Toby do one also, but who knows? Gallagher's rumor was that Daredevil, Born Again, was to take place during the blip with Karen and Foggy returning. Do you think the time frame will change following restructure? Maybe. It's so hard for me to guess on that one. I don't really know. It's like I feel like they could. I hope they stay away from the blip again. Let's get away from it. Let's do new things. But I don't know how they're gonna explain any of this. I really don't. But I just, as long as they stay, in that tone now of the Netflix thing and the trailer of Echo like that. But I still need to finish. I still haven't watched 4 and 5. I was going to do it last night. I was going to watch last night. I started watching. There was something I was watching on YouTube, but then right as I was going to start Echo, my wife came in. What did we watch last night? I watched a little bit of Stranger Things with my daughter. I didn't even watch anything last night. I went to bed. I was going to watch Echo, and then I decided I was going to sleep. So yeah, I'll probably do it. I'll probably try to start watching a little bit of it tonight.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. What do you think? You think any of this time frame is going to change?
Probably. If you're in full rewrites, you don't. I doubt.
Yeah.
That they're just going to stick to game plan as usual. It feels like they're going to move things around.
I think you're right. Alexander J. Tattersall just puts in a nice $6.99 super chat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Again, we're still taking questions, guys. So as we're here, you want to throw in anything, let us know. We'll be here until the last one. So here it is. Oh, and here it is back. Alexander's back. If they're having Karen and Foggy back of the show again, do you agree that they should be used as little as possible? I don't need any more of Daredevil questioning if he should be Daredevil. I think that I don't know about as little as possible, because I think you need that dynamic, but I do agree with you that they don't need to just keep rehashing the same thing of like, don't do this anymore. You don't need to do this anymore. We're past that now. I think you just use them because they're beloved and everybody wants them back. You just find a way that you can utilize them to help more so than try to question. You feel the same?
Yeah, that was actually very solid. Chef's kiss, man.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, next one here. Let's get to. Thank you, by the way, for everybody who's putting these in there. It's very, very much. We don't normally do these on Friday, so we're glad that you guys can. Normally we record on Thursdays. It's also why we didn't get an early episode to patrons. We usually get the Capes and Cowls to patrons a day early, so it's another benefit. But we'll probably put two big thing episodes early next week for patrons, because we just couldn't do it this week. And Winston was going to come in Thursday, and I had some things I had to move around, so Winston was kind enough to do it here today with me live. So I figured that would be nice to get some questions. Andrew Smith. Thoughts on the Seth Rollins injury? The dirt sheet had Punk to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Rollins at WrestleMania. The injury would kill the story. You know what? I didn't watch anything. I'm going to Google this. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. How bad is it? Is it his leg again? It gets hurt. Oh shit. I guess he's hurt. So how hurt is he? What did he do? I don't really know what happened, but that's the problem with doing, that's one of your major issues in wrestling, is that you have these things, no matter what is predetermined in whatever you're writing, you're still dealing with athletes, so it's like people can get hurt like that, and injuries can change storylines and direction like that. So I still think they'll probably wind up having Punk win, because you only have so much time left with Punk. He's like 42 years old. So you need to carry on the momentum right now. So I still think Punk will win the Royal Rumble. The question is who he's going to challenge, and can they get Seth healthy by then? So that's going to be a question. Winston, I know you're very much into this as well. What do you say? Perfect. Okay. The Raven effect. Always enjoy listening to Winston. Winston, you're a very articulate and intelligent guy. Even if I disagree with an opinion of yours, I will always respect your knowledge and your enthusiasm. Big up to Winston.
Big ups, me guy. I appreciate that. I genuinely do. And like, it's funny, man. Again, during the commercials is when I decided to like peek at the comments again. So I was like, Giamatti, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, again, I'm just saying, if you're telling me Cillian Murphy, I would prefer Giamatti over him. I know he's way too old to play Doom, especially compared to Pascal's age. I'm just saying the energy he gives me off and like the roles that he's done. That's all. Because I obviously remember Cillian as Scarecrow. That's a completely different type of villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's not giving me the right vibes from what I need out of Doom. It's just not.
Totally. All right, here's the next. Galagos. I had to cut back on my subs to save for my wedding. Oh, man. That's totally understandable. I wanted to ask Kristian, what would help the channel more? Donations when I can, or a Patreon sub? It's really up to you, man. Like, the fact, as great as you, I mean, you've done more than enough over every time we're on one of these streams. So I always say, when people ask, I always say one of the sponsors, because you're getting something also. I mean, with the super chats, you're getting us to be able to answer your questions. We have direct communications with you guys and stuff too. So that's another great way. Patreon, you get all the benefits. So it really is what serves you. It's like, is there stuff inside of I'll definitely say this. You getting married, I think Manscaped and Blue Chew will probably be good.
I throw that on your wedding registry, baby. Come on now.
For real. So, but yeah, man. But thank you anyway. So it's really whatever is easy for you. Like, I'm not like, when Roka's on here on Mondays, Roka's threatening to snap people's legs if they don't put super chats. I'm happy for one of them. So
Paul, I've seen it.
Yeah, he does it all the time. Paul, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Madam Web. I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way. I'm so curious what that's tracking.
I have a feeling that after the screener, I'm gonna be like, "My goddamn, that was goddamn awful."
Oh, that's gonna happen everywhere. There's gonna be memes and stuff come out of it, no doubt. Pete Parker, you need to be in this movie. Do you guys think that Sydney Sweeney Euphoria fans could boost the Madam W box office? No, I would rather have seen a solo Spider-Woman movie with just her, or Gwen movie or something, or save it for a Miles movie or something.
We've talked about this before. The only reason you get away with doing the Guardians of the Galaxy is because you've earned trust and 100%. Respect to do that because of other things that are going on. What has Sony done with their live action stuff that has earned my trust and respect to go, you know what? I'm going to give Madam Web a goddamn shot. Nothing. The same reason I'm not excited about Craven. I'm going to see it because, again, my job, but I just...
Yeah. Well, when you go into a store and you've gone to a burger place, or you go into a restaurant, and you try something every week, and you try new things on the menu, and then they have something new on the menu that you've never heard of. You try it because that restaurant has been good, and you're like, okay. You walk into one place, a burger place, and you went, and it's got a hard bun. It's the meat's not all the way cooked, and you've gone in there before, and it's not been. They had one good burger once, and you're like, okay. Every time I've gone into this place, well, we've got a new burger. Try the new one out. So this is gonna suck too. So that's exactly the way that I would look at it as far as restaurants go. Bam, 86. Schnepp had the best take on Fantastic Four. He said it should have a lot of horror elements. I remember him saying that. Guy turns into a rock monster. Woman turns invisible. Guy catches on fire. Another stretches everywhere. Gross. Thoughts? Yeah, of course. I remember talking to him about that.
I mean, yeah.
It's gonna be hard to do that. But I understand where he was coming from, but it's going to be hard for them to. They need this movie to be their new Avengers. They need this. They need to build them up, and Feige loves it. So horror is not going to be the way that they go. But I always understood where he was coming from with that for sure. This isn't a super chat, but Giamatti would make an awful Doctor Doom. Paul Giamatti as Doctor Doom is crazy.
I literally love how people this is how you know we live in an age that no longer has nuance or listening to context. Did I say my ideal casting for Dr. Doom was Paul Giamatti?
You said
no. I said if you were giving me the option of the 5 people that are up for Oscars right now, or they're about to be, that they're sweeping the season, and you're telling me it can either be Cillian Murphy or Paul Giamatti, because of who Paul Giamatti is as an actor, I would take Giamatti. I did not say I want Paul Giamatti.
Okay, so what you said, but what you said just now is just as crazy.
You would still take Cillian Murphy over Giamatti.
Over Giamatti. Most people
I would not.
And I'm not talking about like, and I preface it. I love Paul Giamatti, but if you're like out of the 2 of them for Dr. Doom, yet that's what people are saying. They're not saying that you want him for Dr. Doom. They're saying your choice out of the 2 of them is Paul Giamatti. That's what they're saying, and I am with them.
Well, I have never claimed to be sane is the first thing.
Fact. Alan Richardson for Doom. Giamatti is Rhino.
Well, don't take that as an example.
Right, because you could be, I mean, so yeah.
Take him from, it sounds weird because I don't love that show, but take him from Billions. Yeah. That's actually a great example of what I'm talking about.
All right, moving on. Cool. Winston, man, you're killing me. Got to bring out the Force Awakens hype to remind me of the good old days of being excited for Star Wars. It's been a long 10 years. Yeah, it's true. And what's a bummer about Force Awakens is that, for me anyway, and I've brought this up, is that I really liked that movie when it came out. I get disappointed when I watch it now because I know what comes next, and it's like nothing delivers afterwards, and it's just like, oh, look at all these ideas that could have been great. And I won't ever go back and revisit the trilogy, like the new trilogy, like ever.
The funny thing is, I had moments in Force Awakens that I enjoyed. I didn't, even when I came out of that movie, I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I never got on board with it.
Fair enough. Dark Room Reviews. Thanks, man. Super sticker. That's very kind. Everybody who's putting stuff in here, I cannot thank you guys enough for doing all of this. It's very, very amazing, and I appreciate it. I think there's only a couple left. BM, the MCU is likely rebooting Venom in the MCU. They should save Alan Richardson for that if they don't use Tom Hardy as variant Eddie Brock. Could be interesting. Again, I feel like Alan Richardson's so big he could beat up the sentient by himself. Test, is the beginning of the DCU with animated stuff smart? Feels like they're playing catch up again with all the TV shows connected to the movies. Keep it small. So they're not really starting. I mean, they're starting in anime. I bring up the same point, and I think it is very important. It's very important to bring it up. Is that to the hardcore fans who are paying attention to every little thing? Then yes, the DCU is starting with animated. To the casual viewer, again, which I guess is the through line of this entire episode, the DCU is starting with Superman, and they're aware of that. They're aware that it's starting with Superman. It starts with Superman, and that's how it builds. And it's not like, even if the animated show isn't good, it won't hurt it. If Superman's not good, problems. Same? No.
We talked about this. That this was, I got to give Coy credit here. He was the one that straight up said that Superman will kind of make or break Warner Brothers, especially with the rumors of them trying to potentially sell that off too. Like Warner Brothers Discovery selling, like after just merging, which is wild. It is all going to come down to that film. You especially since we are in the middle of this fatigue, you have to hit it. And I say all that to say, I'm gonna double back on Giamatti. If I had to pick anybody that's hot right now and been nominated, and I had already brought up Jeremy Allen White, and y'all said no to that, I might even take Barry Keoghan first.
For what? For Doom?
Yeah.
I don't like your casting.
Again, I don't want any of them. I already told you who I want. But if I'm taking people that are just in the sphere right now with awards,
yeah. Okay.
Cillian Murphy's got the look. I don't feel the Doom vibes. I don't.
All right. Here's the next one. GLX Devastator says, did you guys see the Indiana Jones video game trailer showcase? Looks like classic indie. It's set between Raiders and Crusade. Super excited. Okay, so I did watch the trailer. I loved 99% of it. 99% of it. I loved it. Thought it looked great. I thought it did feel like an Indiana Jones kind of classic movie. I had one issue. Do you want to know what the issue is, Winston? Did you see the trailer yet?
No, I did not.
Call it a bias. And So Troy Baker is doing the voice of Indy, and I think he's great voice actor. How Jamie Costa was not called for this role is beyond me. Jamie Costa is it would say, I mean, it was noticeable to me when I was listening. I was like, oh, it's someone trying to do Harrison. When you hear Jamie, you wouldn't even notice. You would be like, oh, did they get Harrison back to do this? And Jamie can do young Harrison, Jamie can do old Harrison, Jamie can do in between. Jamie should have been called in for this. I don't even know if he has been, but maybe he wasn't available. I don't know. I haven't talked to Jamie about it, but I will say I think that Jamie should have done the voice, and that's my only critique. The game itself looks great. Am I going to buy the game? I am. I think it looks like what Uncharted looked like for Indiana Jones.
I guess I need to see this trailer.
It looks great. It looks great. It looks like everything you want from an Indiana Jones story. It feels like it. I just wish because I know how good Jamie is, and I know that it would have been better. And because I just noticed it doesn't. Oh well, clearly it doesn't. Doesn't sound anything like Indiana Jones. But I was like, it's fine. But I'm in such the minority of when it comes to, because other people are losing their minds over it. I think that the trailer itself looked fantastic. Okay. The MCU could learn from the Arrowverse, keep the shows yearly. How young will the Young Avengers be once it finally comes? Have a second team for the shows. We've talked about this. I think the rumor was that they were going to do a Young Avengers movie. I think that is a colossal error. I think they should stick to a Disney Plus show or Disney Plus movie. I think that would be a way smarter idea. So yeah. Let's see. Keeping it going. I think that might be, maybe that's it. Nope, it is not. Haunted Autumn. Thank you, Haunted Autumn. So Sony re-released Morbius after a misunderstanding of meme. Yeah, Winston talks about this all the time. Gave us the Amazon right before she died line and screwed up the math on Spider-Man's age. They have to be trolling us, right? No, I just think that they don't really know what's going on. But you loved when that happened, right?
That was the funniest shit I have ever seen. Because if anything, if you ever needed proof that Hollywood is in trouble, that was a moment. That was a specific moment where it feels like you've got a bunch of old people that are running things that don't understand how the world works anymore. Because then that's throw $300 million into an Indiana Jones film. That's what people want. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Oh, yeah. No, of course. Re-release Morbius. They're loving it out there. It's trending.
Yeah. No. You know who else could have done Indy? Anthony and Gruber is another one that could have done it.
Oh, yeah.
He played Harrison in Age of Adeline. So Alexander J. Tattersall with a very nice super chat. Thank you. Winston, do you think we will hear about Tim Drake and Jason Todd in the new DCU Batman storylines?
Not right away, eventually, but we have legitimately got to stop jumping 3-4 steps ahead. There's a reason why they are Robin 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only way you're going to maybe circumvent something, but it would be silly to leave out Dick Grayson, who I would argue most people feel is their favorite Robin. I could be wrong on this, but is if you wanted to go straight for Damian. Yeah. If you're trying to tell this story about Batman and his actual son and all that stuff, if you want to jump to that, maybe. But I don't see you circumventing Dick Grayson to get to those two. So that's maybe 5 to 6, 10 years from now. I don't know.
Aisha Kenya. Hello, Aisha. I was
Hi.
She's the best. Hey, Kristian Winston, do you think Disney Marvel intentionally misled the audience with the TVMA rating and trailer? No, because I think it was TVMA. I mean, it was. They had shots in the head and blood coming out and everything too, even though it was like CGI blood, which I don't love, but it was TVMA for the stuff in language and certain things that they did. So
the Kingpin beat just for the Kingpin beating the snot out of the ice cream man.
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't think it was misleading. I think that the trailer didn't necessarily represent exactly what the show was, or what the show was about, but the tone itself and the actual TV, it was TVMA. Yeah. The Blazing Kids with a very nice, very supportive super chat as well. Thank you. Just finished watching the Infinite Crisis animated movie. This is supposed to be the end of the Tomorrowverse movies. Now that James Gunn is making his own animated movies, what do you guys think? What? So tell me, what do you guys think about it? What do you think about it, Winston?
It was good. I personally enjoyed it. I'm waiting for. I think it's a 3-parter.
Okay,
is what they've decided. They took an interesting route where they didn't immediately jump into and here's the crisis. They kind of had these like little storylines of introducing some of the worlds, bringing the worlds back in that we'd already been introduced to and stuff like that. So I actually am enjoying it. I have always said that the DC animated side of things has always been their strongest. They have destroyed Marvel, in my opinion, as far as the animated scene goes.
That's what everybody
so I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Okay. Thank you again. Moist Gumption. Kristian and I work overnight, so I miss these streams usually. I wanted to ask you, better Hell in the Cell, Mick Foley versus Undertaker or Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker? Well, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker was kind of like the first one. And it was pretty great. I think that the reason I still take the Foley versus Undertaker one is because of the spots, the two big spots. Are you familiar with that one at all?
You're talking about the one where thrown through the cage onto the tacks and all that stuff. Oh yeah,
and thrown off the huge, and then off the actual cage onto the table. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you know those spots. And
I'm just glad Mick Foley's alive.
Yeah,
after all the things that he's been through,
it's
man.
Like teeth went through his lip. Yeah, so like that to me is the most memorable one for sure. And the fact that he came back, they told him don't come back after that throw, and he still came back. So like, yeah, I would say that one. Funk Dini. Super sticker. Thanks, Funk Dini. Appreciate it. Let's see. We're getting close to the end here, and I think that might be it. So I wanted to thank impersonation is not great acting. Exactly. That's why Jamie is such a great actor, because Jamie doesn't do impersonations at all. That's why. And I don't know if he was saying that, but like impersonations, like that's not what Jamie does. Jamie does, like when you look at what oh, this is Gary Busey, and I believe him turning bagels into a coffee mug could be something I would do in the evening. That's either a bad impression or a somewhat decent impression. That's not acting. That's not actually, when you do someone, if you're able to actually take the person's being and make decisions to that person mentally, that's acting. And that's what Jamie does. Yeah.
I would take Garcia, the nominated actors. Okay, you know what? I got another one for you. Here's my Dr. Doom. Forget Murphy. Forget Kogan.
That was from IMFC 16, by the way. Go ahead.
Okay. Forget Giamatti. Robert De Niro. Boom.
For what?
For Doom.
You're kidding. Come on.
Oh, at this point.
I don't know. You're orange. Your arms they stretch. You're doing it fine. Can't even see. I can't see. Can't see.
At this point, it's just really fun to troll people. It's just
ridiculous. De Niro. Al Pacino. Hey, what's fantastic? Okay, gonna turn you orange. Take off my mask.
Hey, no. You want to talk about somebody that's been in the zeitgeist right now? You want to talk about somebody that's been in the news? If you go and get Money Mike, and I will play Dr. Doom. Bitch, you think that you're gonna sit here and you're gonna talk to me, Mr. Richard? I will rip your little skinny, stretchy dick off right now with my bare hands, nigga. I am a boy, Damon. Like I just
Funk Dini, Quentin Brunson for Doom. Everybody's getting cast for Doom now. And Alexander was back in hot. They should already have been Robin if Damian is Robin in the first Batman movie.
No. I understand that. I'm saying if you're going to circumvent anything, the only reason you would potentially do that if you're just going to take your own angle is because of that whole storyline and whatnot. But no, yes, you have to start with Dick Grayson.
Speaking of the man himself, look at this. Jamie Costa. Congrats on that YouTube silver plaque. Well deserved. P.S. What If is great in the animated space. And you, sir, are great in the space. Jamie rules. So let's see. Okay.
I want to throw my hat in the ring for Doom.
Yeah.
I feel like I do a great job.
Everybody.
I know how to run a country.
Yep. Armada. Kristian, you got to watch the rest of Netflix Daredevil. It's so good. Also, if Clayface is in Batman 2, Alan Ritson or Benicio del Toro is good casting. Yeah, I like to see Del Toro do a little bit more. And I will say, as far as Netflix, I have to remember if I saw the last season of Daredevil. I do want to go back and see it for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with. Again, I guess I need to see Alan do a little bit more serious, because the one thing about Clayface, he is super menacing, of course, but like he is that classic Hollywood actor that all he wants is to not only be human, but to like get that fame back again. Right. Most versions of Clayface in that regard. And so I would want somebody, Benicio del Toro would be good. You need somebody who's like an actor's actor, but then they're raging out.
Right. Like, so for like your choice in Dr. Doom, the Mad Hatter. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Doom. I'm going to be telling everybody about my breathy arm friend. Look out, everybody. Uh-oh. Don't take my mask off. Pascal 420. Dude, Jamie's in the chat. I see. Jamie's the man. All right. Keeping going. I think that might be it, Winston. Fine. No, it's not. You guys are crushing it.
I love it.
Armada, when do you think Moon Knight will show up back in the MCU? Also, do you think Kit Harington will return in Blade? Love you guys. Thanks, man. I do think he'll return in Blade. Thank goodness, because I thought he was so underused in that movie as much as I liked it. And then I think that we're getting Moon Knight back for they announced season 2. So I think that's where we're going to get.
Oh, did they?
I think so. Pretty sure. Okay, this is the last one. Armada, did you guys see Reptile on Netflix with Benicio? I did not. Did you see that?
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, but this is Funk Dini trolling me. No, I'm trolling you. You're perfect.
Somebody get this man out of my chat before I go off and treat him like Ricky Smiley, like a bitch.
That's it. Okay, guys, we did it. We did it. So thank you for joining us here today. I appreciate you guys so much for all the wonderful questions. We did a live Capes and Cowls and an extended one. Normally we do the hour, but today we did almost 2 because your questions have been so wonderful. So Coy will be back next week. Winston will be back next week. We'll be in studio. I want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank Winston A. Marshall for being here today. Winston, where can I find you?
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred. I've been doing my Breakfast AM news. That's across all the platforms, man. So check that out. We do Game Time with John Roca. So definitely check that out as we're going through the playoffs and things going on there. And that's pretty much it right now. But as more stuff is up, again, if you're following me on the socials, you'll see that. So please do that.
You're not done yet, Winston. Adam Williams, Leo for Doom. He is sweaty and could play smart and menacing.
I mean, Candy. Look at Candy. He did a great job with Candy, and that has the same kind of menacing "I'm smarter than you" vibes.
Leo, I mean, you can get Leo to do it. He's not going to do that. But
he's not going to do it though.
You can get Leo to do it, sure. Yeah. Alexander J. Tanner slogan. So you guys, so you're saying they just don't need to mention them yet? But yes, they most likely exist for, I guess, the Robins. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then there's one more here, and then Armada, De Niro and Cat Williams buddy comedy would be great. What are you doing? Get in the car. Hurry up.
I know that this old white man is not talking to me like he is my master. Sir, I have been free for decades.
You want me to lock the door? I'll lock the door. Should I lock the door? I'm going to lock the door. Big balls is Doom. Hell yeah.
Hey, man. Oh, yeah, Winston. You want to cast me? You going to cast me as Dr. Doom? Okay, watch this. Okay. Secret war. I got a secret war for you. It's my nuts against your forehead. And you didn't even know that's a secret because I just put it down there. Now we at war, baby. Oh, yeah. Come on, Sue. You want some of this? I'll even take some to Johnny. Come on, Johnny. Slap me and call me Torchy. Oh, yeah.
Slap me and call me Torchy.
That's what he does.
Big Balls is on one, bro.
I mean, they just cast them as.
Also, you gotta show Roca this. This is how you get an endless amount of super chats. Come up with something crazy like Paul Giamatti as Dr. Doom instead of being like, "Where are the super chats?"
I got a better idea. Don't threaten your audience.
I mean, I don't know. It works for De Niro in all those mobster movies.
Right. Well, yeah, but he's not telling. They're not like putting their money to ask him questions. He's trying to give. You don't listen. You don't put in $5. I'll break your legs.
That's the thing. I think if he did it more as a funny thing instead of just "Come on, where are they?" If you just like, hey, give me the super chats.
I say I'm happy if it's for me. If it's $2, it's $2. If it's 0, it's 0. As long as people are commenting. Thank you guys for joining us here today. go check out Winston for sure. We'll be back. Speaking of Rook, we'll be back on Monday for the live show. We'll be doing that, and then we'll be back to normal with UAP Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, everything back. I missed the show yesterday. My plan yesterday, by the way, the reason why we missed it, I didn't bring this up, is I was going to do my most anticipated list, which I still haven't done, but I had a lot of stuff that I was doing with Katie Sackhoff's show. All day was a lot of different edits for all the different guests and wonderful guests that we have. So I just didn't get a chance to work on any of my stuff. So I will have that most anticipated list out. The goal is to try to do that today, but we'll see. Damn it, Winston. Gary Busey is Victor Von Doom.
I believe that when I arrived to this particular place that I am the smartest man in the room because no one can see. I can even see that woman there who's invisible. I don't understand why she is there. Who is that man with the hat making rules? Mr. Feig? Mr. Feig? Kevin Feig, I would like you to move out of the way when I tell you a particular choice that I made one time. I eat cameras for breakfast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Doom is Doom.
Doom is Doom. That's a deep cut. You mean MF Doom, or you just mean Victor Von Doom as himself?
Not sure.
No one can play me. I am Victor Von Doom. just
nobody wants us to leave, Winston. So we got to get out of here.
Dr. Tran, if you haven't seen Here Comes Dr. Tran, that's a really old school internet animated video. Go look that up when y'all are done here. Dr. Tran for Dr. Doom.
Well, here we go. Look, every time I go to sign up. Andrew Carnes, if Superman gets a trilogy, what 3 villains would you want? I mean, obviously, they're not going to lead with Lex, I don't think. I think they're going to do Brainiac for the first one. So I'd like Lex for the second one. And then, I don't know. I think that they're probably going to stay away from Zod this time around.
I wouldn't bring Zod into it. I think and then the third one, if it's a trilogy, now you could even tap at that point into Darkseid if you wanted to. And then you could by the time you got to that third movie, that's a situation where maybe Superman starts off with Darkseid, but it's like, I really can't handle this by myself. And here comes the Justice League.
Totally. Well, thank you guys for joining us here today. I appreciate it very much. So you guys rule. And this has been a fun show. We'll probably do it again one of these days. But nonetheless, myself, it's Winston. Thank you to our sponsors today. If you want to help us out and you can support the show that way, go to our sponsors, links in the description. And it's always the first pinned comment. For watching it on the replay, you know what to do. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later. Bye. Just kidding.
Every time I think I'm out.
See you later.
No, did you see another super chat came in? It said every time I think I'm out. Yeah.
Another one came in just now. So look, I was about to.
Every time I think I'm out, it pulled me back in.
Okay, so let's try this again. Thanks, guys.
Old man yells at Cloud.